All right, we are live. Sorry about the delay. I had some issues with my microphone, but I'm excited to be here today. I am kicking off the inaugural Bold Moves Abroad coffee chat. Let me see if I can get my cup in the screen. Yeah, I'm inaugurating my coffee cup too. So I'm very excited to bring my members of the Expat Woman membership on board with me today to kick off this inaugural coffee chat. We're going to be talking about our New Year goals, a waste of time. I'm going to get each of them to share their perspective. There's no right or wrong answers. If you are joining us live either on YouTube, on LinkedIn, or on Facebook, all on the Expat Woman pages, do introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know where you're calling from, and hopefully we'll have you join us in the conversation. You can share your insights, you can ask questions, etc. So very quickly, my name is Naina Kaputi. I'm the founder and CEO of the Expat Woman. My focus is on, or the Expat Woman focus is on helping women make bold moves after they move abroad. And I run a membership. All these three wonderful ladies are part of the membership, and part of the goal of the membership is to help and feature our members so they get more visibility, can elevate their personal brands, build their network, get more opportunities, and create and elevate their income, their influence, and their impact. So we have an amazing group of women inside our membership who are already breaking glass ceilings and continue to do so. And I'm also a LinkedIn coach and trainer. I was recognized as one of the top 15 LinkedIn experts in San Francisco in 2023. So a little bit about me. I'm currently based in the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm originally from India. And yeah, and I'm a mom. I have 3 kids, 4 cats, and I think that's it for me now. Now let me have my members each introduce themselves. I'm going to go alphabetically. So let's have Beth go first. Welcome, Beth, and go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, thanks so much. Yeah, so I'm Beth Ferris, and I'm originally from New York and Washington, D.C. I have spent the last 10 years living in Amsterdam. Love it here. And in my business, I help coaches get crystal clear on their brand, their message, and their offer using a human-centered approach. Yeah, so my belief is that the more we focus on depth and authenticity, the less we have to rely on growth hacks and performative marketing. Yeah, good to be
Wonderful.
here.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Beth. I'm sure you'll have a lot to add to the conversation. And then we have Corina Ha. Go ahead, Corina.
Hi, I'm Corinna Hoch. It's
Oh, sorry.
the German pronunciation.
I love it.
I mean, in Mexico, that is where I have been based for the last 10 years. It's always Corinna Hoch. So I'm used with different pronunciations. So it's I like it. So I feel like my name sounds in all the other languages less hard than in German. I'm a B2B marketer and I'm a professionalized in lead generations, most of the time connecting all marketing channels. I'm having a big strength in SEO and GEO, I mean the search engine optimization, and also for the artificial intelligence in the search engine. And I try really not to get the visibility. It's more really to get clients that at least ask for your service or your product, and so that you can really, I say always, they stand in your garden and they come in your house and you just need to invite them to your table. So that is what I'm doing. And I am very happy to join the group and this conversation. Thank you for the invitation, Nina. And looking forward to what your perspectives and your ideas with the annual goals.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I would like to add one more, because it's like I'm having a lot of background information and psychologist, so I try to connect these parts even in my marketing work. So that's why it's even more interesting that we have 4 different characters, how we looking forward for these different topics with goals for the annual, and especially in 2026.
Awesome. I'm sure you'll have a lot to add to, Corina. Thank you. And then we have Monisha.
Hi, everyone. I'm Manisha Merchandani. I'm currently sitting in California near the San Francisco Bay Area. I'm what I would say a global citizen. I'm Canadian, born in the UK, Canadian citizen, living in the US, but I've been an expatriate traveling and living around the world with my family for the last 27 years. So I call myself a career expat. Um, I'm a certified lifestyle wellness and travel coach. And my focus is to empower women to restore their vitality, cultivate balance, and really elevate those daily wellness rituals to create a purposeful and intentional lifestyle. So I'm all about the intentional lifestyle. I'm also a mom of 3 boys and a fur baby. And I'm just really excited to be in a group with us here today because I think we all have so many different perspectives to offer and help elevate, which is my word of the year. So this is all about elevating.
Awesome. Thank you. I love that, Monisha. And you also have a word for the year, and I'm looking forward to your contributions too. If you're joining us in the chat to introduce yourself, again, as I said before, we're streaming this on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. So I see Laurie B has joined us on YouTube. Hi, Laurie. Hello. Let us know where in the world you're located. And while we're doing that, while hopefully people will comment, let's go to our first question is, do you set goals at the start of the year, and or do you create a vision board? So whoever wants to go first, go ahead and let us know. We just talk about if you're setting goals right now or not.
For me, it's always of setting goals, but I will not connect it with the calendar year. So it's basically I have something that I'm heading through, and I don't really mind if it's a year ending or starting. But this time it really was almost parallel in line with the calendar. So yeah, I have a lot of goals and aims that I want to reach for the next month. But I think always it's like the way that you choose to get there, you always find new goals that you have ahead. So, and I really need that motivate me, and I'm looking forward to what this year will bring up.
Yeah, I think that really any time of year could be the perfect time to to reflect again on your business, where you're at, where you've been, where you want to go. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people do it in January. A lot of people will do it beginning of March. I see no problem with whenever it is. To answer the question, I do set goals. The vision board I sometimes do, and I just thought this was kind of funny that just last week I happened to attend a local event where one of the things we did was create a vision board. So I have one. So I think that that can be actually a fun add to the process. So, it's just another tool. It's just another way to get clarity and insight. My process for goal setting, I've given this deep thought because I used to actually run some goal setting challenges, and I sort of look at it as four levels of clarity, or four levels that you can kind of go through. And starting with reflection and analysis, you can really geek out there depending on how far you want to go, but you can, doing some reflection first. Then secondly, vision and inspiration, and that's where a vision board could be part of that, or creating a word of the year. By the way, Monisha, my word of the year is elevate. Also, so that's very interesting. And then the third level is goal setting the goals, and then the fourth is planning the details and action steps that get you to the goal. So that's how I approach it. Yeah.
I love that. As a certified life coach, goal setting is the big word, right? The big goal of life coaching. But I'm going to be a little bit bold and say I don't call them goals. I do set what I call intentions. And I just find that the word goals has become, for me personally, and I said I was going to be bold on this, I don't like the word goals. It actually gives me a bit of this anxiety that I don't really have. So, when we think about setting the goals at the beginning of the year, I think it's such a buzzword that can really give people this feeling of the pressure. now we're setting things under pressure. So I like to call them intentions. What are my intentions, going forward? And they're almost like little promises to myself, like because that goal I'm setting, or that intention I'm setting, is for myself. So I just make little promises to myself about how I'm going to show up. And I agree with the time, Karina, like I don't really put a time on it. However, I do like to, for really intentional tasks that I want to complete, I do like to put a time on it, but I don't like to go too much past 90 days. I think energy can shift and things can really change, as you start working on your intentions for the year. So, my word elevate, like people were announcing their word at the end of December, on January 1st, people are putting their word out. And I was like, I'm not ready for my word. Like I need to feel 2026. Like I need at least a week to think about what this year is going to mean to me. So I just let it all go in December. I don't even think about 2026, to be really honest. And I just start fresh, and that's why it took me a week to put my word out there. But, yeah, so I take a little bit of maybe a different approach. So when you say goals, I just start panicking, Nina, but I'm like, oh, I think I need to show up for this.
I feel that is a nice perspective, because that align a little bit with my perspective. So it's not that a lot of people say in the 1st of January, I want to do this, and this, and this. And at the end of January, they didn't do nothing of it. And I think that aligns with your idea, Monisha. It's more a feeling when it comes, it's time to set up the word. I mean, for me, for example, I never set up a word. I just can feel that I'm very energized. And at the end of December, for sure, I slowed down a little bit, but just because there were so many holiday days. No, I took advantage of this, that the offices are very calm. But the ideas for the next months that I have, it's not really based on the calendar. Yeah, I mean, and I was not really thinking about the word goal as you did, Monisha, but I feel it very smart, because at the end of the day, I don't see it in that way. It's more just like I have some interests. And for example, I wanted to come back to my passionate sports. And I'm so happy that I did, but it had nothing to do with the calendar, because I tried to come back to the sports last year and I didn't feel any passion about. So I think we need to align, as you are a life coach, me as well. I feel like in some way you need to feel it inside you. But the calendar, and I think also the daily based life, it's telling us always we need to do it now. Now is the calendar telling us it's the 1st of something, the 1st of this. So that's why we feel the rush. And I love that you all have different perspectives. I even have here also a smaller vision board. I cannot put it down, but I wrote it in October. So it's already old. Yeah. Not because I reached everything what is inside. I just developed in 3 months something in my mind. So they are not up to date anymore for what I think is now in my mind.
Yeah, it's interesting. We're talking about timing. Nina, I'm not sure if we can hear you. Can you say something? I think your audio went down, but but in terms of the timing and the calendar, in some ways, December, you could look at it as maybe like the worst month of the year. There's just so much noise in December. Everyone's so busy, the holidays. When I used to run my goal setting challenge, I would do it in mid-January just to give everyone some space and like, okay, we're really ready. Our mind is clear now. We're out of the holiday stress. We're ready to really just like sit with ourselves and sit with this. And even for anyone watching right now, I would say, if you're feeling bad that you haven't set your goals and plans for this year, do not feel bad. Do it by February 1st or by March 1st. It doesn't, just do it when the time feels right for you, I would say. And Monisha, I loved what you said earlier about intentions. I just love that word. And for me, that's why I love the setting up a word of the year or phrase of the year for myself, because I see it as just kind of just an intention, and it's a way to set an intention for the year, get some inspiration. But as you said too, the pressure that comes with goal setting, my gosh, I think that a lot of people are turned off by goal setting and the whole thing because of pressure, because of, we already have so much pressure on us as solo business owners, I think, as it is. So we don't need anything else to add more pressure. And, for some people, they think that it has to be super rigid, the process, and the whole thing is sort of very restricting and rigid. And that's not the way I approach goal setting at all. I take a very flexible, easygoing approach to it. I set the plan, but the plan is never set in stone. And for some people, it feels too corporate. For some people, it feels overwhelming because you're looking at every aspect of your business, brand, marketing, operations. And that can be, overwhelming. And I think the last thing, I was thinking about this earlier in terms of why people sometimes get a negative feeling around this, is because I think we all experience this feeling of, gosh, maybe I'm not where I should be by now, right? We've all had that thought. It creeps in there. And I think that maybe my theory is that being faced with this kind of reflection and goal setting, it can bring that feeling up to the surface. And maybe that and so people just say, I'm not even going to do it,
Yeah.
No, we don't hear. But
Okay. She's going to go out and come back.
Yeah.
I think the lip reading. I'm going back to the grades here.
I wanted to bring up another point on that, because there's one thing that we are maybe crazy about setting goals, or that is the rush of the calendar that says you need to do it at the beginning of the year. But there's also another part that maybe we are a small group of people. So, and I guess there's also a lot of people, they need like a goal or an aim, or however you want to call it, as orientation, where to start. It's not very often to put a goal, or it's to fulfill that. Sometimes just to say, okay, we start from here and let's see where we go, in which direction it's gonna guide us. So I think if you take a little bit, soften the intention, what that means, that give you just an orientation or a start. And it would be very interesting to talk maybe at the end even of March, if that what we put now in our wish list, if we really succeeded, or where the way guided us, no? Yeah. So I feel like this is a process of personal development as well, because if you're, as Beth said, you put up some ideas how you get that goal and so on. So, and when you finish basically the first step, maybe then you have 50 other ideas that you didn't have in mind when you put up that goal. So I feel like it's a point of starting something, and also you need to check what else is coming in your way for reaching it, or maybe to decide, I find something that aligns better with my inner balance, or with my passion.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think it's like, I think sometimes people, they emphasize the outcome. They emphasize, like, did I get to that goal? But I think along the way, like, I call it like the execution. Like I talk to my team and I'm like, what are the small things that you're getting executed? Like, those need to be celebrated as well. It's not just the outcome. Like, we can celebrate small milestones.
Absolutely.
And feel that we've accomplished something, because I think if I'm going to set something for 90 days, and if I can't celebrate anything for 90 days, I'm going to not feel so great, And so I think, and I think like we all think, like, people are different. Their people are different. Some people need a little stronger set target, I think. And then there are people that are a little more fluid with that and can kind of roll with the small successes and the small punches, and kind of get to where they want to get. So we all have this different journey to that end result that we want. So I love that, because this discussion definitely helps amplify that, for all of everybody watching.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes,
awesome.
We can.
Oh my gosh, isn't that crazy? Like, the host gets kicked out. Okay, so this is, I missed some of it, but I just wanted to read some of the comments, because we have a lot of comments happening on LinkedIn. on the live. So Laura is originally from Germany. She lives in Portugal with a husband, stepdaughter, 2 dogs and a cat, and she's self-employed. And she says being an expat continues to bring new challenges, especially while building a business abroad, and it's definitely changed the way I think about goals and planning. I do have a few wishes and intentions for 2026 that I'd love to gently bring into this reality. So, ladies, if you're joining us, or men, gentlemen, feel free to share your goals in the comments. And Alessandra has joined us. She's based in Switzerland from Brazil, and she's happy to be here. And she says, love setting goals and celebrating achievements. And she says, purpose more than goals. Alessandra, you asked if you can see everyone during the live. You can only see 4 of us, but I'm going to experiment at the end and see if we can bring on a few of the bold guests who want to be on stage with us. Again, this StreamYard, I haven't used it for a year, so you can see my microphone is playing up, but we can try that. So, and then Sharja, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. She says her word for the year is deep inner alignment, connected to the Chinese astrology fire horse. Very interesting. And Carolyn says, yeah, this is what Carolyn had said, and I'll share it in the goal. So I think, Mary is joining us. She's Canadian by birth, lives in the Netherlands. She's lived there for over 32 years, and her word for the year is inspiration. And she's working on an online goal setting program. So she's hoping to gain some inspiration. And she says her husband says every day, new chance. He feels like New Year's Day should be every day. I love that. Awesome. And Vandana has just joined us from the Netherlands. So guys, keep chatting in the comments. Hopefully you guys can see too. So in case I get kicked out, you all can read out the comments. So I just wanted to add my perspective about goals. I haven't been tested, but I think I do have ADHD because I am kind of scattered. And I think for me, structure is really important. I never have the time because I'm always like creating stuff, always doing something a little bit impulsive. I don't take the time to take a step back and decide this is what I want to do for the year. So I think for me, having that start of the year, which maybe next year I'll do it, and creating those goals, I need some kind of deadline. I need pressure because otherwise I'm moving on to the next thing and trying out something new. As some of you guys know in the membership, I'm always excited about, creating new opportunities for our members to get visibility, which is great. Like that's why I decided to do this Bold Moves Coffee Chat. But I am reading this book. How many of you read Atomic Habits? Have you guys read this book? Okay. Yeah, I've been, putting off reading the book, but I decided I'd start the year reading it. And a lot of what he shared has been very helpful for me about creating habits. And, because I would create vision boards too. In fact, last year I organized a vision board party in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I put all these amazing things up on the board. And I like looking at it and hoping to manifest it, right? But not really saying, how am I going to get this? Or how am I going to get that? You can't just, because many people say, oh, we look at the vision board and we manifested. I have a friend who says she did that and everything worked out for her. But maybe she did do all the work to make it happen, right? Shaja says she resonates with me. Yeah, that's a great word, Shaja. She says creative chaos. You guys can pull up the comments. Can you see the comments? I unfortunately lost most of the comments because I got kicked off, but I just wanted to add this thing. Let me see if I can see. This is from the Atomic Habits by James Clear. He says, if you want to get better results, forget about setting goals. Sorry, I forgot the quote at the end, but oh gosh, where did it go? He says, focus on your systems instead. So, and I know some of you shared that already. What do you think about this? And even people can let us know in the comments. Do you agree with this? Like setting systems in place and, so what are some ways, and I know Beth, you covered a little bit. I got kicked out, so I didn't hear everything. What are some ways you guys create systems, even if you're not starting your goals at the start of the year, right? You're doing it or intentions. How do you make sure you achieve those? How often? And I love what Corina said. You said you in 3 months come back and then check in and see if how far you're. So just want to know, and if you have any tips and advice for people who are struggling with creating these goals, intentions, resolutions, whatever, no matter which part of the year you're starting it. Go ahead.
So for me, it's, for example, I have an idea, and I told you already. I mean, at least the community of you around in the membership, that I this year have the goal to connect the mental health with my marketing knowledge. Yeah. So, and for sure, that is not something that I can say it will be done in June 30. Yeah. So I want to connect it, but this is also a process. So what I'm doing, I try to work constant on that process. For sure, with the marketing knowledge that I have, I need to think how I can align these two things. Because also, as I said, if you want to for example, to be visible with these two keywords at the end, you need to find a smart way to do so. And that is also a process. So I need to know how I can structure me to get step by step on it. And I can tell you, even if I had the idea since last October, we have now January. My ideas that I had last October, they are so far developed now that even if I would set up a goal that is fixed in paper, it would now have a completely different line, because now I had some experience that I reached this months and weeks and talks, so I get some other ideas. So it's for this, I think it's important to know, okay, this is what I really want, and then you need to find a way how to get there. But it's not like something that you, how you say it in English, like you put it in stone. No, you write it like in the past in the stone, and then it's written in there. So for me, it's really more like sometimes. Nina, really for you, I think it's interesting. Sometimes I need to take a step back to check I'm still going in the right direction or I don't. And if it's really also somebody that I will help with, because at the end of the day, we are all entrepreneurs. And if that what we are offering, nobody is interested in, so we are maybe walking in the wrong direction, or we don't communicate it good. So there is a lot of things in between that you need to adjust all the time. So you cannot just say, here's in stone my aim, and now let's see what's gonna happen. And I'm in somehow like you, because I like to bring a lot of stuff up, but I need to, it's okay, but it always need to influence my that what I feel inside, what I want to reach the next time, no, in whatever time.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Corina. And I think, yeah, that's very important. Charger just said the 90 days is effective to work with and break it down to monthly, weekly, and daily tasks. For sure. Yeah, for sure. And I think you have to make the time for that too. Go ahead, Monisha, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I did want to add. I mean, it's just such a always such a big task, right? To write it down for 90 days. We write it down for 90 days. We check in every month. Maybe we check in daily if we're running our own businesses. Maybe it's 3 times a week. I like to check in on Mondays with myself. Mondays is my day where if somebody asks me if I want to go for lunch, if I want to do something, I will usually say no, unless they're visiting from another country. And that's the only day they have. But that's my day where I'm like maybe in my pajamas all day, just working on myself for different things, and maybe grocery shopping and things like that. But I really believe in having an accountability partner. Like as we run our own businesses, or whether, you are working for, it doesn't matter who you're working for, but I think an accountability partner in life is great. And I'm not talking about your spouse or your partner. I'm talking about someone that's completely removed from your life, your personal life, that really just kind of sees you and sees that you have this intention that you're trying to reach, and, checking in with them, and maybe they have one that they're working on as well. So having that real deep work with someone who just is there to root you on. So I really believe in having someone that you can check in with besides yourself, because we can convince ourselves of anything, like, oh yeah, I did great last week, and I did all the things I wanted, but maybe they didn't move me forward, and maybe I'm not seeing that. So I think sometimes it's nice to have somebody else with you.
Yeah, and maybe you guys can, maybe in this chat, maybe two, because I also want to announce all 3 of you are going to be speaking at the Expat Woman Summit in May 2026. We'll share topics maybe in the future, but one of the things for our members who are speaking at the summit is partnering up and being accountability partners as you work on your presentation for the summit, because that's also one of your goals, right? Because it's not just speaking at the summit. We have, I think, close to 2,000 people signed up on the LinkedIn event page, but it's also building your visibility, creating that impact, influence, and also income, because if the summit will also be an opportunity for you to share your offers, your business, it's not going to be just promotional. You're obviously sharing your expertise. So I'm hoping to get you guys, the speakers, to also form accountability partners. And it's true, when you have someone to partner with, for me, the accountability really comes from running the membership, because I know I have to I have to send out the newsletter every Monday. I have to make sure our members are getting visibility, opportunity, so it's, but I think the accountability partner is a great thing, and I hopefully that will,
And I do. Oh, sorry.
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
And I do believe the Expat Women group has really helped with that, the accountability factor, because I know there are days when I fall off of, we're all, whether we're coaches or not, or whether we know how to do this or we know the rules, we all fall off, like we're human. So, I do fall off of things. And sometimes I'll get Nina's message about something we're working on as a group, and I'll think, oh my gosh, I need to get back on that. So thank you, the Expat Woman and Nina, for giving us these accountability opportunities, because that message in your inbox, it's going to sit there until you reply. So I do appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome. I try to do gentle pressure, like not give, but I'm glad, like I wasn't feel, yeah. But it's great.
It works on me, that's for sure. I feel
No, it's awesome. I love that. Thank you. 1 minute. So Laura says it's not easy to find the right balance between no pressure and too much pressure. I also need deadlines to guide me. Like me, Laura, I need deadlines too. But life here in Portugal has taught me to be flexible. Goals, yes, but with flexibility. That takes away the pressure, but still provides structure. And structure gives you security, which is good for the mind, for sure. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, Laura. Beth, did you want to add anything?
Yes. On the book Atomic Habits, I think there are so many wonderful ideas in there. I mean, one of the key ideas, of course, is that small habits or small steps, small action steps towards a goal actually compound and multiply the same way that money multiplies through compound interest. And when I first heard that idea, I thought, oh, that is so brilliant, because especially as solo business owners, we're here in our little bubble with no one around. We're hacking away at our we're taking actions every day to try to move us forward without necessarily getting any recognition or applause or anything. And so I think it's just this great reminder that, like, your effort does pay off. We'd love to see immediate results, but not everything is going to get us immediate results. So it gives you that faith that, like, oh, okay, there will be a turning point where we will see the results of these efforts. But I have to say, I disagree with this idea that he puts forth, that setting goals, forget setting goals and just focus on the system. My point of view is both. You need both. It's sort of like this classic debate we have in entrepreneurship: clarity versus taking action. And my point of view has always been, clarity is a strategic advantage. It's like if you got dropped in the middle of the woods at night and you're trying to get somewhere, if you have a compass or a map, it's only going to help you get there faster and easier. But as I said, we can take an easygoing approach to goal setting, I think, and be flexible and have grace with ourselves, and try to get some joy in the journey, as Munisha was alluding to. And hey, if I get to the end of, and I also focus more on 90-day plans. And if I get to the end of 90 days and I look at what I've done, and I've done 80% of what I set out to do, yay. I mean, for me, that's a huge win, and we need to celebrate that. So yeah. And I do have a bit of a system I'll share with you if you're interested. It's very, very simple, because here's the mistake that I think we fall in, the trap that we fall into, is creating a complicated system. Complicated systems don't work. But so a simple system that I've created for myself is I have a Google spreadsheet with 4 tabs. Tab 1 is a calendar, because I like to visualize the next 90 days and kind of put some key things on there. The second tab is a task list, an incredibly simple task list that I prioritize at level 1, 2, or 3, and then I always know what my priorities are. The third tab is my marketing plan, and the fourth is my 90-day goals. I also print out my goals, I put it up, it's pasted next to my monitor, so it's just a nice visual reminder. And besides that, actually, I also have an accountability group of just a few of my business buddies, and we meet on Zoom on Mondays, every other Monday, and we just check in with each other, like, hey, what are your priorities right now? And it's very easygoing, but that's what I do.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Beth, and breaking it down into such simple steps. If you're wondering what this QR code is, someone asked me if where they could get the book, Atomic Habits. So I created a QR code. This is something new that StreamYard has just introduced. You just enter links and they create the QR code and then you share it. Because if I had to create the QR code myself, I wouldn't do it. So, also what I like about platforms is they make things simpler by introducing systems. So yeah, and actually, Beth, let me stop sharing that QR code first. I just wanted to let me see if what I wanted to add to what you said about not agreeing with James Clear's Atomic Habits about you need systems to meet goals. He does have an example in the book where he talks about a coach. I think maybe it was the Lakers coach, and he didn't have a goal. Maybe it's not the Lakers coach. I don't know, but some coach. He didn't have any goals, but he had all the systems in place that they had to practice this and do that, and then they reached their goal of winning whatever the championships or whatever they were. So he said, even if you don't have goals, if you have systems, you will still achieve success. So so it's interesting, but I think for many of us, having that end point and that final what intention or what do we want to achieve does help. So it's but Manisha, did you want to add something?
No.
Okay. I'm looking for
me, what you described, Naina, is just the opposite direction. I mean, you can tell the people you need to build a boat because then you can reach the island, or you can teach them the desire that they build the boat by themselves. So I think not one direction is the correct or the other one is direction. At the end of the day, I think Bas is correct. If you have the compass already and the map, it brings you faster everywhere where you want to go. This is for sure. But at the end of the day, there's people, they need first the aim or the goal to know which map they're going to choose. And the other ones see the map and they say, okay, now I know which direction I want to go. So I think it's not wrong or right in one or in the other step, but I love your structure, and I'm pretty sure, and somehow I do the same, but I just don't need to write it. I have totally the map painted in my mind, and each day I don't check in on Mondays. It's like basically each day I have a routine that I follow, what I have to do first, and I mean the priorities are set. And when I have time to do some other things besides working for my clients, then I know, okay, I have here 1 hour, here 15 minutes. So I fill them up really with all the usual tasks that I have to do to set or to reach my goals that I think I want to reach in the next time. I don't want to add 90 days or 1 year. That's why there was a break.
Yeah, I Karina, like how you are into the psychology of it as well, right? So like I know when I work with my clients, that everyone is so different, right? Some people will say, just tell me what I need to do. Just tell me what I need to do. I will do it every day. And they're just, they just feel that they're going to get to where they need to get to based on what we've talked about. Then there are others that they don't see it that way, right? They want to know a little bit, they want to know it in such detail, and they want to know how am I going to feel in a week? How am I going to feel in a month? How am I going to feel in 6 weeks? And just the psychology behind people. So I think being able to adapt to that, that's why this is such a great discussion, right? Because we're all just can tweak it a little bit how it works well for us.
Yeah, I think that's so key. Find what works for you. Like whatever. I mean, it's a simple idea, really. It's like what helps you achieve your goals.
Right.
Do that. Like there's a lot of right answers here, I think.
Right.
I think for this you need to know first yourself. I mean, if you know yourself, and then you know what you will need. And I think we are all very experienced already in what we are doing, but we were also in other states of our life where we were not yet there. So, and there it's good to first check the ideas, or possibilities that are there. But at the end of the day, as better you know yourself, it's easier is it for you to know what you need. And I like that everybody of us, in some way, we are saying we like to have something visualized in the future. Let's call it like this. Don't say intuition. Don't say goal or whatever. We all have something that we want to approach, and everybody is doing it in their system. So, and I think that's why it's also make it so interesting to be here in this group to share this experience that we have on that point.
Yeah. Thanks for talking about, the identity part of it, Corina, because again, I'm going back to Atomic Habits because that's what my focus was on. And he does talk about identity, like, how your identity or the goals lead to your identity. And I was thinking about it because with my kids, I always say, oh, I can't do this. I'm not good with my hands. So, you guys unscrew the thing or you fix this. And he says, you start believing that identity. I mean, like, oh, I'm not good at this, so I have two left feet, so I can't dance. I mean, yes, some of us are better dancers than the others, but we start believing those. And the same thing with your goals. I'm too shy to show up online, or, I can never be a public speaker, or I can't write LinkedIn posts because I'm not a writer. And that was one thing, public speaking, writing content on LinkedIn, basically building visibility for myself was not something I focused on, even though I was running the Expat Woman. And before the pandemic, I was hosting events where the events would sell out every week in San Francisco. I never spoke at my events. I hid in the background. My website did not even have me as a founder. People say, who's the founder of the Expat Woman? And here these were these big events being held at Google and Microsoft and Yelp and Lyft, and I was nowhere to be seen. I just felt, oh, it's about the Expat Woman. But the pandemic kind of pushed me to build visibility for myself. So sometimes if something happens in your life, you don't even have that goal, and then because of a certain situation, like you have certain plans for yourself, and then certain situations or hurdles or challenges or pandemics change your whole focus, right? And then suddenly your goals have changed, suddenly your identity has changed, and 5 years later, now it's almost 6 years later, now I'm a public speaker. If you told me before the pandemic, Naina, you'd be going live with other amazing influential expat women, and sharing your thoughts and expertise, and the world is going to see your face on video, like, oh, no way. So it's just so, also it's interesting, your identity change. Sometimes you change identity intentionally, and sometimes challenges happen. Even if you have all these amazing intentions, goals, vision board, something can change. And I think one of you was talking about how I think as entrepreneurs sometimes we have to be open to pivots, but then we have to also be wary of shiny objects, right? I see people like, suddenly it's become AI. Before that was crypto, blockchain. I mean, there's always, so we also have to kind of stay the path, maybe like continuous learning the new technologies as we go along with our goals. But I think also being flexible, but also not getting carried away by every shiny object. So yeah, I wanted to share this before I have you guys show more. This is, someone had left this comment, Carolyn. She left this comment on, I thought this was really interesting. New Year's resolutions are 0 stars. Do not she said this is by a Chinese medicine influencer who says that we recommend, because where our bodies are in the yearly cycle. And I think that's true too, right? We have seasons as well. Again, as one of you said, it's always depending on, each one has their own strategies and each one works differently. So there's no one size fits all, right? It all depends on each of us, what we want to achieve. And that's the sense I'm getting from this. I just want to see if there's any other, things, that people are saying. Yeah. Okay. There's no, I don't think anyone else is saying, they're just commenting on each other's things. So let's finally end with, what are some of your goals for this year, Beth, Corina, whatever you call it, intentions, something, a transformation, a identity. What's something you're hoping to achieve? Because maybe there's something you want to do, and then people can also support you if you need any support. And I encourage everyone who's in the chat also to let us know what your goals are for this year. Maybe I'll even try bringing some of you up I just want to address Charja's question. She asked, are you looking for speakers for the summit? The speakers are members of the Expat Woman and a few expat influencers. So right now, the goal of our membership, the Expat Woman membership, is giving our members the opportunity to build their visibility, share their expertise. As you can see today, we have 3 of our amazing members. They've shared so many or dropped so many value bombs. So because our membership is all focused on building towards these bigger aspirations, so that's why I have our member speakers, because we're already going through a lot inside the membership, learning things. As Monisha said, we're always having to show up, do stuff, be accountable and get involved, participate. So the if people, talking about vetted speakers, our members are already vetted speakers because they join the membership, because they believe in building and elevating their personal brand, their visibility, sharing their expertise. So I don't have to look any further, and I have a few influencers. So anyone in the future, if you are looking at being a speaker for our next summit or participate in this, I will share the QR code to our membership. Doors are opening today, actually, and then you can consider joining, and maybe one day we'll see you on stage like this. Yeah, so Chacha says she has to take her boys to bed. Yeah. Okay, awesome. Okay, so let's hear goals from each of you, and I'll share the QR code while you're talking.
Okay, I'll jump in here. So some big things that I am focused on in 2026, from a kind of sales perspective, I'm very much laser focused on selling my new program, the Brand Reset. I just went through an evolution of my own, actually, in Q4 of last year, where I revamped my whole business offer and brand. So that is the sales focus. And then in terms of my brand, actually, just becoming known for human-centered brand strategy. And then I said my word of the year is elevate. And that's so aligned with where I'm at right now. I want to elevate my thought leadership this year and be even more bold in the kind of thought leadership that I'm putting out there in my long form content, and the messaging that I'm putting out there. And I want to secure a whole bunch of guest speaking spots, do some workshops. So that's all in line with that kind of thought leadership approach. So those are some of my big goals.
I love it. That's awesome, Beth. And yeah, so and maybe we can help Beth find speaking. I'll keep in mind if I see some opportunities for speaking at other summits, podcasts, etc. Awesome. And so yeah, thank you for sharing.
I can go next here. So I think for me, for 2026, I've had a big transition year in 2025, moving back from the expat life living in Japan and coming back to California. Not only that, but I just graduated my last third boy from high school. So I'm now an empty nester, no kids at home. So I took about the rest of 2025 to just enjoy that moment. But in 2026, I have a few goals. So elevate is my word for the year. And really that's about, and I have it like, it's just in my mind all the time. It's on my computer. And everything I do, I just want to do one step better. Like I just want it to be better than I was doing. So I'm putting my energy into that. As far as my business, I am this year would like to break into some small businesses with wellness programs. So I'm looking for, small businesses that want to do like a 4-week win where we can teach the employees or the people in, teach them a little bit about wellness in a holistic space, all the way from nutrition to stress to movement, non-toxic, and run those programs. And then my big one, and Nina has heard me talk about this, I don't know if I've been asked or I've been pushed or I've been nudged or it's just in my head for years, but I'm starting a group called the Expat Collective. And this is really going to be for expat women. I think we're starting with women. So again, it's in the works, but starting with women and bringing together women who have lived temporarily abroad, as an expat and maybe repatriated, because I think there's a really big journey in the repatriation. I actually think it's much harder than going out and living in another country. So I just want to bring groups of women that I have been in touch with or that need some kind of like a community, like a like-minded community where we can just talk about all the things like from kids to business to husbands or spouses or partners, and just kind of bring it all together. So it's in the works. I have a little bit of a current group going, which is my, 1 degree of separation ladies, and I'd like to grow that to more. But I just wanted to, and again, perfection is not where we need to be, right? Action is better than perfection. So I think I'm going to be launching it soon, and just it's hard to just launch something, right? I don't know how everyone feels, but that's one of my intentions for this year, is to get that going sometime before March, because it's my birthday in March, and I thought that's a great goal. Like, let's get this going before my birthday. So that's where I am. So if anybody has interest in any of the things I'm working on, please do get in touch with me, connect with on LinkedIn. I'd love to work together on these.
Thanks, Monisha. And with your wellness thing, I think you should look at more corporations and small businesses, because a lot of bigger organizations have the funds, and there's so much focus on mental health, well-being, etc. So I would say start looking at employee resource groups, see if you can do like a workshop for them, and then then maybe introduce your program. That would be my advice. If you're wondering what the QR code is here on the right-hand corner, that's the QR. I don't know why StreamYard's logo shows up in the center. I'm not the Expat Woman. I wrote to them, they haven't responded, but that's a QR code for the Expat Woman membership. If you want to be a future speaker at a summit, be on these live streams, connect with other women who are making bold moves after they move abroad. As I said, I'll be opening the doors today, but you can add your name to the wait list. And then who else? So Trekking Pals, Habiba, I believe, is joining us from San Francisco. And Vandana says her goal is focus on building program for expat spouses, help for empowering them in Netherlands. And then Rolad says New Year's goals are only a waste of time if you don't work towards achieving it. A chance of identity, New Year's goal. What kind of identity are we talking here? Cultural, professional, gender? Great question, Rolad. So what I was talking about is identity. How do you want to be seen? What do you want to be known for, right? If it's really about personal brand. If you don't, it's not about your gender, but more professionally, because that's what the focus of the Expat Woman is on, like professional women who are living abroad or planning to move abroad. So I would say your identity, what do you want to be known for? Like, I have two expertise. One is running the Expat Women, helping women, step out of their comfort zone and showcase their visibility, their personal brand, their opportunity. And the other one is I'm also a LinkedIn coach, and I help women achieve their goals through leveraging LinkedIn effectively. So that's what I want to be known for. And that's what I talk about as the identity. It could be different things. It could be, she's very personable, or she's an introvert. And all that is tied in with your personal brand. So that when I'm talking about identity, that's what it is. Sometimes if you don't create that identity, that personal brand for yourself, somebody else will. Because I remember for the longest time, I was very shy. I never spoke up at meetings. And I was considered diffident, the opposite of confident. And that was the identity I had. And then people treat you differently, and you yourself, create that identity for yourself. And so you have to take that step of building that identity and letting people know what you want to be known for. And then those opportunities come. So hopefully I answered that question for you. And so did everyone respond? I'm sorry, I'm a little bit. Karina, you have to share your goals, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have to share my goals.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for you to share your goals ahead. I felt them very interesting, and I wanted to add also fast to Monisha. I get you when you say it's good to know sometimes also that somebody see what you have done. So this is coming really. Sometimes you can sit there and say, wow, look what I have done. But when an external say, I have seen it, it makes a total difference. So I can hear you. And at the end of the day, we had also one-to-one once. And yeah, there is already a big change in between these two talks. Yeah. So I wanted to bring it up. So what are my goals? So I wanted to connect the mental health, especially that will have an influence in all your stages of life. But I want to connect it with the business world and also with the marketing. So I want to be known that I have both degrees, and I want to connect it. So you can do very successful in your job, but you can also take care of yourself very much. And that is for yourself, but it also can be for your organization. And that is one big step. And this this big step guided me to, I want to go out thinking on my own mental health as well, to share my knowledge, what I have. So because at the end of the day, the world outside is turning so fast that we cannot even run behind. I mean, Nina, you said before that it's important to don't run for every shiny piece that is in the floor, but at the end of the day, it's still running very fast. So I wanted to make sure that even if you are a small company, if you're self-employed, if you're an entrepreneur,
Marketing. So
I want
to be
no,
known
I
that I
so it's for me important that when you want to do it by yourself, you want to be visible in the internet. It doesn't matter if it's through Google or if it's important to ChatGPT, that you know what you have done. I know that the whole marketing concept around is a lot of work. And even if you hire an external agency that do your website and they sell you a SEO package or whatever, that you know what you need to look for. So I want to create workshops for this year that you know how to get the visibility that you all are also are announcing. That is also the strategy that you're building back. That is also the visibility that is Nina running for. So I want to show you how you do it. So at the end of the day, that you can do it by yourself, or at least that you have externals and you know how to guide them. What do you want? So that is really a huge package, because I will need to put all of my knowledge in basically online courses and videos and share it with everybody who wants to know it. And at the end of the year, I would like to look forward to a big retreat where I connect my both topics with each other, but also to have like interesting people that can join to give an add-on. So these are the two things that I really would love to do, and these are my aims for this year. And beside that, yeah, I'm more visible. Maybe also thanks to your inspiration. In Germany, the people are not that visible, so I am nominated for the new business award, new work business award, and for that I would like to really be visible for the remote work. It is possible to be in another place and to be successful. You don't need to sit each day in their office. For me, it's important that you are in your happy place where you find your balance, and every one of us is different. So, and I want to represent that and encourage the people, do what is good for you, then you have also better results in your job, and make sure that you find that balance in your life.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks so much. Sorry, Corina, as well. And let us know how we can support you for sure. Rolat said, my goal is to reach as many book readers as possibly, especially on my recent book, Where You Really From. It discusses identity, ethnicity, immigration, multiculturalism, motherhood, career, all combined. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Rolat.
great.
Yeah,
Miss
really
Hello,
great.
yeah.
Yeah. If anyone, I just shared the link to StreamYard here. I don't know if you ladies can stay on for a few minutes more, but I shared it on the LinkedIn thing. If anyone wants to come up, we can just stay on 5 minutes more. If any of the guests want to come up, I've never done this before. This is something new that StreamYard has just introduced. So I've shared the link on the LinkedIn Live and on Facebook and on YouTube. So anyone wants to come up, I'm giving you a second to come up while I share my goals. So my goals are really right now related to whatever I'm creating for the Expat Woman. So one of them is, of course, the summit, which is happening in May. So really my focus is on that. It's finalizing my speakers, finding sponsors, because the summit is free, but it takes a lot of manpower to put this together. That's why I didn't do it last year, because it's just so much work. So in fact, I have one big sponsor. We're just finalizing it. I'll be announcing them soon. I'm really excited, and they reached out to me. So, by creating visibility and putting yourself out there, you get opportunities too, because, who doesn't love inbound leads or inbound, inbound opportunities from sponsors. And then my other goal is, I'm also a LinkedIn coach. I love LinkedIn. So I'm going to try and also build my LinkedIn coaching practice, because I built my visibility, my network, a lot of what I've done in this career path in the last 10 years has been because of really leveraging LinkedIn effectively. I've met so many amazing people because of LinkedIn. I've brought on people into the expat community, got sponsors, everything mainly because of LinkedIn. So that's my second goal. And then my third one is since I've kind of, I wouldn't say mastered LinkedIn because LinkedIn's always changing, but they say once you get good on one platform, focus on another. And as I said, even though I don't love social media, I use it very intentionally. So I'm going to this year really learn how to use YouTube. I have actually 3 YouTube channels that's talking about, spreading myself thin. But I do things that light me up, that make me excited. So I have the Expat Woman YouTube channel, then I have the Naina Kapuri YouTube channel, which is all about with LinkedIn tips. And then I have a new one that I launched because I love traveling and even discovering places in the city or town I live in. It's called Wander Around with Naina, and that's like a faceless channel, just videos of my travel and stuff. So that's the other thing I'm focusing on. And so it doesn't look like anyone wants to come up onto the screen. So I'll just finally share the QR code for the summit if anyone wants to add their name to the summit waitlist. And I'm going to have my 3 guests share any final tips, advice, anything like very quick for all the guests who are watching live or watching the live stream later. Go ahead.
Find your style. As very simple as that. Find your way and find your style. That will be always the best.
And I'll say, I always used to say this to the group of people I was hosting for these goal setting challenges. When it comes to your goals and plans, make them ambitious but achievable. That's huge. Because ambitious but achievable. So yeah.
And I'll say, just always be authentic and where you want to go with your intentions for the year. If it doesn't suit you, if it doesn't fit your energy, drop it and move on. And don't let the noise of all of what's going around us, alter that. Stay in what you love and you'll be amazing.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm going to share this quote from, again, the Atomic Habits. If you get 1% each day for 1 year, you'll end up 37% better by the time you're done. So like we're talking about small steps, and I'm trying to do that with the YouTube channel because it is hard creating a YouTube channel, showing up to just like today, I'm going to get 1% better at looking at the camera, or I'll get 1% better at editing. So very small steps. Instead of saying, oh, I'm just going to be this expert YouTuber and, I'm going to get thousands of subscribers and all these big sponsorships. I prefer looking at 1%. So I do, and this is by James Clear, his quote, but I know this has been used even before that by many coaches and people who want to improve. So that takes the pressure off whatever you do, just getting that 1% better. So I need to hide that. And so with that, I want to thank all my guests, all 3 of you, for being part of this inaugural Bold Moves Abroad coffee chat and, taking the time, sharing your expertise, your personal goals, what's worked, what hasn't worked. I want to thank everyone in the audience who's joined us. Hope, if you go to the Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube channels, you can see, because people have been commenting on mostly LinkedIn and a little bit of YouTube. And these replays will stay on all these 3 channels till the social media platform changes and decides, okay, no more live streams, we're going to remove that. But otherwise, we're on that. Hope to see some of you inside the membership. Hope to see you folks at the summit. You just heard a little bit from these 3 ladies. You can imagine how much more they have to share when they do the summit. And and make bold moves abroad. That's I end with that. Just do it. Don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Don't worry about the naysayers. Don't worry about what people are going to say. Just do it 1% at a time. Thanks all so much. Bye.
Okay, thank you.
Bye. Thank you.